Hi everyone, welcome to Dr. G's Dandelion Monologues. Feelings, thoughts, are they really our own? It's interesting because depending on the language, often we seem to identify with especially feelings, right? Like, I am scared, I am sad. In French, it's a little different. There's a nuance because we say j'ai peur. Instead of I am, it's I have fear, right? So it's not so much I am fear, but I have it, so I contain it. So we're still too close to it, to the point that it could maybe hinder us or create a problem. But I've started to shift something after I heard in various meditation spaces that we should say there is sadness instead of I am sad or I have sadness. There is. And it's making more and more sense to me, at least cognitively, and hopefully eventually experientially, because emotions actually can be contagious. Have you ever walked into a room when you felt really joyful and then for some reason you walked out of it completely drained, down, lousy, gloomy, and then you reflected on the dynamics and they were not that positive? So maybe you were containing someone else's emotion. And we see that a lot in dynamics with, for instance, a person with severe narcissistic traits or personality. They tend to project their emotions like shame, rage onto others because they don't know what to do with that. They don't take accountability, and then they let others do that work for them. So I've been there. I've been an emotional processor until I figured out, like, this really me, my shame, my thing? No. So from that point on, I just basically set a boundary and created a shield by repeating to myself, nope, this is not my emotion to bear. So it's important to be aware of that and always realize that emotions come and go. And yes, some will be really tied to an experience we're having, but still, is it really our emotion? I mean, we make a connection like between a life circumstance and an emotion, but it doesn't mean that these two are even related. So that's kind of freeing, isn't it? That emotions are coming and going through us because we're kind of antennas. We're perceptive beings. There's a lot of suffering in the world. So of course, at any given moment, we might feel something. We feel down, we feel heavy, we feel melancholic, and sometimes we don't know why. But it could be that we're just very sensitive beings. And at other times, we'll feel happy and we don't really know why. We feel excited, we feel joyful, hopeful. Well, then we should take that in, right? That's the good stuff that keeps us going. And same with the thoughts, actually. Isn't that interesting? Because people are so attached, usually, to their beliefs and opinions, right? Oh my gosh, they identify with them just as much as some people identify with their sadness or depression or anxiety. And it's a problem because it's very limiting, right? It's not evolutive to cling onto any transient state, whether it's an emotion, a feeling, a thought, an idea, even a sensation. So in a book I read recently, the author said, no, we're not in charge of our thoughts. Yes, we can maybe create ruminations on top of a thought that we have. So basically, we're following the direction that the thought visiting us is offering. But are we truly the creators of the content of our minds? I mean, consciousness is really complex. We're really barely starting to scratch the surface. We think it's limited in our heads, in our minds, in our brains. But when we look at trees that have all these networks, interconnectedness through the roots, the brains might have that too, you know? And it's quantum physics, actually. When we sometimes think of someone, it happens that this person also happens to think about us at the same time. We call that telepathy, and oh my gosh, those who believe in that, they're just like psychotic. Wait a minute, it's not because we can't measure it, we can't see it, that it doesn't exist. All we have to do is to keep an open mind and know that this world is way bigger than us. And there are so many realities that we can't yet quite understand. And the thoughts, well, that's good news if they're not our own, because that means we can decide to not identify with them if they're unpleasant. So I hope this frees you too, because a lot of people who have obsessions or thoughts that are intrusive, then the word says this, right? It's intrusive, it's intruding upon you, your mind. You don't want it. So no need to feel guilt about that, or to identify with it, or to even pay attention to it. So what helps us really is meditation. I've mentioned it many times, but it's helping creating a silence within, or at least reducing the noise, whether it's a noise from an emotion, a sensation, or a thought. Remember, we are antennas. I think we are extension of the earth, and we are connected to it, and we receive, we perceive, we are sensitive, we react sometimes to the weather changes. Some people's joints start to feel achy. Mine certainly do when it's moist or humid outside. We are like a barometer, and that's fascinating. So keep that in mind. We're just receptacles, we're containers, and we can choose to inhabit or contain more positive or uplifting thoughts or emotional states. Even when they're great thoughts, we can't really say, oh, I invented this idea. No, it was probably somewhere in the collective subconscious, and I happen to have been receptive and open-minded, which is great. And now what are you going to do with it? So thank you for joining me today, and be well. Namaste.